Welcome back to Genre. I'm your host, Katie.
And I'm Elise.
And today we are talking about my pick, which is Rose and Chains by Julie Soto.
A gorgeous cover.
I know. Gorgeous cover. I got this at our local bookstore down here in Delaware. Shop small.
What's it called, Katie? If you're gonna do it, throw it out there. Let's give them a shout out.
Is it the Bethany Bookstore?
It is the Bethany Beach bookstore. Yeah.
Bethany Beach Bookstore. All right, we're going to get into it in a minute, but first we have some things to say.
Surprise, I have two things to say, but that's a great lead in to my first thing was that I did a little bit of a shopping small today when it comes to bookstores, and I got you a gift of kindness.
Ooh, please.
You ready for it?
Please show
So
me.
I went to the Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn, which is just a romance only bookstore. It's so fun. Look at this.
Oh, I love that bag.
Look at this fun reusable tote.
I know. I love that.
I know. And it was very fun. It was the first time I went there, and I saw this piece of art that I feel like we can put in our studio. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at that gorgeous drawing of Edward,
Edward and Bella.
Edward and Bella in their meadow. Look at it. It's gorgeous.
That's stunning.
It is stunning. I saw it and I was like, Katie must have it.
I must have that. Like, that's gonna
Is it-
go right. It's gonna go right in the bookshelves that are coming from
coming.
IKEA that I don't think we're prepared to put up. But once we do, that's going right in there.
The
Wow.
artist is Brittany Keller.
What
Excellent
a
job.
gift of kindness.
I know.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I also got us another thing from there, which is this gorgeous print of the Ripped Bodice.
Oh my God, I love that.
I know. And then it can go with the thing that I got when I was in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, and I went to another cute independent bookstore, Browser Books.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even
know,
see
I
that you
was-
got. You didn't even show that to me.
I don't think I showed it to you. I've been just holding it. It's I guess it's another
Wow.
surprise. Surprise!
Yeah.
I'm
Shop
decorating
small.
our yeah, shop small. I'm decorating our studio. Haven't told you.
Yeah.
I also went to the Strand today, and
Did you go to the one in the Upper West Side by us?
no, I went to the original, the OG down in Union
Oh.
Square,
Yeah.
and I got some. Actually, I went to 3 bookstores today. I also went to West Side Books. That was up here.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a used bookstore, and from there I got Wild Reverence, which is a new one.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we're gonna put on our list. I really want to read it by Rebecca
Yeah, I want
Ross.
to read that too.
I got a copy of Bury Our Bones at Midnight,
Mm-hmm.
which was they had it used, so I got it for a little cheaper.
Oh, nice.
And then A Touch of Darkness, which I don't think you've ever read, but like this is like a Hades and
No.
Persephone retelling.
Wait, I like Scarlett St. Clair.
Yeah,
I read a couple of her books.
I've read most of them. They get so smutty. They get so
Yeah.
smutty. So then this one, like this is the first one, and it's smutty. I'm pretty sure Hades owns a sex club in it, and Persephone
Oh,
ends up.
it's on my want to read list. I was
Yeah.
like,
So I've
wow,
read
I don't
most of this series. This series gets crazy, but I do like it. But I also saw this. They had this used, but even though it's like in brand new condition.
it's
So
so
I picked
pretty.
this up. Yeah. And then I also
Wow.
got Happy Place and Funny Story from the Strand, hard copies, which was nice,
Wow.
for $13 each. Thanks, the Strand. And then
Wow, that's great.
I know. And then The Hating Game and Red, White, and Royal Blue, just fun little rom-coms.
Oh my God, you got so many.
I know. These were $10 each. So I
I
said,
love it.
okay. So yeah, I was shopping today. I was book shopping. I was buying myself gifts of kindness all over the place.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, these bookshelves are going to be here in no time.
They're
And
not gonna
man,
fill
do we need to
themselves.
fill 'em.
Yeah, they're
They're
not
not
going to
gonna
fill
fill themselves.
themselves. So I'm
We
trying
need-
to do it in an economical sort of way because I can just go into Barnes and Noble and get every book our parents gave away, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So,
I was just gonna say, I did ask our parents tonight if they had anywhere in their house our books, like The Hunger Games, Twilight, like all of those, and they were like, "No, man." And to their credit, they had asked Elise and I 1,000 times if we wanted those books, and we were like, "We live in New York City, we cannot take those books." And so they gave them away.
did they
And
get?
now, 15 years later, we're like,
We're gonna have to
"Do you guys
rebuy 'em.
have those books still?"
I know.
So we're gonna have to
I
rebuy them.
I
Yeah.
think they're still in the attic. I think there's a couple of boxes in their attic.
Dad said no, and that whatever was there was, like, moldy, and they had to give them away or throw them away, which is a bummer.
which is a bummer. Well, I will say, as I was in the Strand and I was going through all of their sections, they do have some. I almost spent $1,000 on the Strand today, but I
I know.
restrained myself because they had Divergent books, like the hardcovers, like, but they had them, for like $13 each. It's not like they're free. It's not like they're in
Yeah,
the $2 section, but like they're at least, a little bit more affordable since we have to rebuild an entire library. Um,
yeah,
like they had the Twilight books. They had all of the Hunger Games in like various editions, even like in softcover, hardcover, special editions. They had a
yeah.
ton of them. So we just have to go and spend a lot of money at the Strand. But
This is on us. This is on us.
this is on us anyway. Just grown up
Um,
problems.
I had one thing to say for
Okay.
today, speaking of books, is the Wuthering Heights trailer.
Ugh.
Have you watched it?
I just saw the teaser trailer. The full
Yeah.
trailer is up? Or is it
No, I
just
mean,
like when you're just like, you're seeing Margot Robbie, you're seeing Jason Elordi, they're running
Jacob
and being
Elordi.
hot and sexy. What's his name? Jacob?
Jacob Elordi.
What
Jason?
is Nice. Well, not defendable. I don't know. I, I don't know why I thought his name was Jason Elordi. Whatever.
But I was gonna say, this kind of reminds me of the time when 50 Shades of Grey, the movie, was coming out, and
Yeah.
they had that tantalizing Beyoncé song as, like, the
Yeah.
background of the teaser, and I said, "I don't ever wanna read these books, I haven't read them, but I think I'll do anything to hear that Beyoncé song."
Hmm.
And that is when I started reading those books, and I was like, "Beyoncé made me do it." I read all the books, I watched all the movies. I don't know if it was worth my time, but either way, I heard the
Yeah.
song, and that is what this trailer is giving me.
Yeah. What's the song in it? I mean, I watched it, but it didn't stick in my
No,
brain.
it's just it's Charlie XCX.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's the entire soundtrack is Charlie XCX. Or she did it. She curated the soundtrack. I don't think it's like
Yeah,
Charlie XCX songs. I mean, I will say I was distracted by the fact that Wuthering Heights is not a romance book. It's a part of the romantic movement in which it was written in, but it's our first tale of generational trauma. Heathcliff is an actual
yeah,
monster,
yeah.
and
But
again,
then but
it's
then the romance at the end is cousins. They're
yeah.
cousins.
Yeah, but again, that works a little well in the time period, in the romantic time period that it's in. But no, it's not great. And they're the ones who have to basically fight Heathcliff just so
Yeah,
they can, break the cycle. But I don't know.
ooh, it
It's
looks
interesting.
sexy as hell.
I mean, listen, I am interested in it. I'm not going to say I'm not, but I am confused about where they're going with this.
Yeah, I'm interested, so we'll see. We'll see what that brings us.
Well, that's another good segue that I don't think you did on purpose because 50 Shades of Grey is a traditionally published Twilight fan fiction. And
Mhm,
Rose in Chains is a traditionally published Harry Potter fan fiction of the Dramione variety, Draco and Hermione variety. And
mhm.
I sent you an article, although I don't think you had enough time to read it, on the
I
New
did
York
not.
Times. That's literally called The Wizard's Everlasting Spell: Why Magic, Dragons, Explicit Sex Are Everywhere in Bookstores. And it sounds like it's going to be like a romantasy article, but it's actually just a Dramione article.
Oh,
It's just an
really?
article about how fan fiction has now become basically a writing incubator, where it used to be something embarrassing that you wouldn't tell
Oh,
anybody that you wrote fan fiction or you read fan fiction. And then
yeah.
after Manacled, which is another huge Dramione fan fiction that's coming out as Alchemized, I think like next month, that now everybody is just not only like hyper fixated on Dramione fan fiction in particular. Traditional publishers are like looking for writers in fan
Right.
fiction. They have a
Yeah.
built-in fan base. They're coming in with a story that people like. It's a good marketing campaign. And it's basically saying that fan fiction walked so romantasy could run. That fan fiction was romantasy before romantasy existed, which I never thought of before, but has
I
some merit.
I had never thought of that, but interesting. I mean, people just don't want the stories to end, and like I said last episode, if I don't like the end of your story, I'm rewriting it
Yeah.
in my head. So, I can relate to that.
I know. They talk about Rose and Chains in this a bit and how the author pretty much had to take it off of AO3, which is a fan fiction archive, because people were publishing it, quote unquote. And the
Yeah.
whole point of fan fiction is that it doesn't hurt copyright laws until you start making money on it. And people were basically binding, and this was with Manacled too, like printing off and like binding them into like hard copy versions and then like, selling them on Etsy, which is against copyright laws and could have gotten them in trouble. But I think with that, we might be able just to dive right on in.
I will read the book jacket, so everybody has a little summary of the book. The war is over. The dark forces have won, and the hero was supposed to save them is dead. The prophecy lied. They were supposed to win this war. Instead, Bryony Rosewood watches, shattered and grief stricken, as her brother is killed, her kingdom falls, and her home is overrun by their enemies. Now Evermore is no more, and Bryony is sold at an auction, prized for her remarkable magic. But defeat isn't nearly as agonizing as being sold to Tovin, scion of the powerful and devious Hearst family, because Bryony knows Tovin all too well from his merciless taunting all through school. Now he's grown into a man Bryony cannot ignore, silver-haired and impossibly unfairly beautiful. And while Tovin is most definitely her enemy, he's something else too, something unexpected. But in a world where magic can instantly crush a human heart and even thoughts can be stolen, there can be no such thing as love. Not for Bryony. A secret rebellion is brewing, and she needs to find a way to escape her cage and join it. Yet, despite the horrors of her new world and the role she must learn to play within it, all is not lost. Help and hope may yet arise in the most unlikely of places.
Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum,
bum.
bum.
Honestly, that was great.
Yeah.
Um, for and for people that are not as familiar with the Harry Potter crossover that this is, essentially it takes place if Voldemort would have won. So when this was originally written as fan fiction, it was from the point of view of if they didn't win, if Voldemort killed Harry, what would the world be like? What would magic be like? And that's pretty much where this story picks up. So let's talk about the genre for a minute here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a romantasy, right? Fan fiction doesn't change
No.
that.
No,
Okay.
I would say it's a dark romantasy. I mean, this is the first book that we've reviewed where I legitimately want to say, check your trigger warnings, which they
Yeah.
have in the front in the front of this book. Like, check your trigger warnings. Don't read it if
Yeah.
you are like sex slavery and trafficking is something that you don't want to read about. That is the basis of this book.
But yeah, you're right. So I would say that this is a dark romantasy.
Mhm.
Definitely not as dark as I've read before, but I almost want to say it's like stepping your toe into dark romantasy.
Yeah, like or just dark romance too. Like if you were going to read a mafia romance book, which
Yeah.
very often has the mafia princess being sold to some sort of other like head of another mafia, something like that.
Yeah.
It has similar tropes, similar themes, but this is a dark for sure. The tropes here are really yearning, morally gray, main character, obviously
Sure.
forced proximity. That's a really nice way of saying that Tobin bought Bryony at an auction. But then on the other side, which sort of softens this up a little bit, is that there's mutual pining. It's a slow burn. It's an
Yeah.
enemies to lovers, but like they both had crushes on each other. We learned that from the flashbacks. So like how enemy are they?
Yeah, I will say, so I went into this completely blind. I have not read the auction. Have you read the auction?
So I have to tell you, because I was a fanfic gal, I just was never a Dramione fan fiction girl.
Yeah.
I was reading Harry Potter fan fiction, but it wasn't of the Dramione
Variety?
ilk. Yeah. And I did read Manacled, but only because Brianna made me. So a lot of this was familiar to me, particularly the beginning, but I don't know if it was so familiar because it is very similar to Manacled,
Okay.
this story, or if it's just familiar because I've read a lot of fan fiction in total. Like it's just like it was
Yeah.
giving fan fiction. But no, I haven't read the entire auction.
So I have not read the auction, and I didn't look up anything about it because I didn't want to spoil anything. And I will just say, I think that this book, and I think it's going to be a trilogy, but this
Yeah.
book stands on its own. Like, I was recommending this to someone, and I didn't even tell her that this was, a republished fan fiction because I
Mhm.
don't actually think you need to know that before you read this. It's just
No. I kinda
something
wish
that
I didn't know.
I know. I kind of wish I didn't know. I'm glad I didn't know anything more about it. I think when this series is done, I might be interested in reading the auction, but I don't wanna know anything about the auction until this trilogy is done.
Yes, and from what I understand, we only got, the first part of the auction.
Yeah,
Like the full auction, much like Manacled, I think is, a
very
1,000
long.
pages long. So
Yeah.
they've chopped it up into 3 books, which is not what they've done for Manacled. Manacled is going to also be 1,000 pages long. Not Manacled, Alchemized.
Yeah, honestly, I kinda would've loved that.
If
Like,
it was just one in one shot all the way through, I
yeah,
don't
but I would
disagree.
say it doesn't bother me because once I'm finished, I know I'm waiting to finish this series for, like, the next 2 years,
Yeah,
which hurts my soul.
I know. It does hurt my soul.
But that was making me think about the flashback, so that was something surprising. I guess I didn't really understand how we were going to go from the end of or, like, Voldemort winning, or in this case, Mallow, who she's, like, the
Mhm.
big bad, she's the Voldemort. Love that it's a
A
really
lady.
bitch-ass lady, yeah, and it goes back and forth
Mhm.
between 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and then the present day, and honestly, some parts of that get a little confusing when you're listening to the audiobook, I will say.
Yeah. The audiobook was good, but I do think this is a better book read.
Yeah. That being said, though, Elise and I listened to probably a solid 3 hours of the audiobook together on our drive down from Cape Cod without speaking at all about it in the
'Cause we
car.
didn't wanna color each other's opinions of the book. I had so many things I wanted to say and couldn't say, but it was a good use of a trafficky ride back
Yeah,
from Labor Day, so it was a good use of time,
yeah.
but not the most ideal setting.
We needed to do it. We needed
Yeah.
to do it, and we finished the book basically, but, that was tough. That was tough listening to it. There was a couple, like, gasps here and there, but we have not talked about it since then.
Alright, you wanna do a one-line plot before we dive in deeper?
Yeah, you go. You do
Okay.
first.
Alright. A magical handmaid's tale, except after the war, the princess is sold to her crush and accidentally keeps the resistance alive while serving top tier yearning.
That's
Top
really
tier,
good.
top tier yearning. That's what this book gives.
That's so good. Alright. Mine is bruised, bound, and sold to the man she's always wanted. A princess sharpens her chains into the perfect weapon.
Bum,
Bum, bum,
bum, bum. Yeah,
bum.
you really bum in that one. That was,
Yeah, I did.
yeah, that was a bit of an
I
epic
love
one
some
line plot.
I love some alliteration, what can I say?
Yeah.
Alright, but you are right in that it's giving Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. Yes. It's obviously giving Handmaid's Tale. It's obviously giving Harry Potter, but like that's just because we know. I don't think if we did know,
I
I don't
wouldn't.
think we would necessarily say that. But yes, Handmaid's Tale is, I think, the biggest contemporary reference for it.
Y You know what's terrible? Is that now in fantasy, in real life, in fiction, whatever, if the world is going to shit, somehow women are the ones that get sold off.
It
Like,
always happens.
that's rude as hell.
It is rude as hell. Unfortunately, there's lots of historical and present day precedent for it. It's it's not just something that gets made up.
Don't love that.
No.
Um, and because one of the other things I thought that was interesting about this book is that the politics of this are not like one group is better than the other, one group is more powerful than the other. They're just simply different in the way that they practice magic,
Mhm.
and for whatever that reason is, they, have decided that the other one is inferior.
Yeah. I mean, religion is the parallel.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just there's no real difference. In fact, it's often said by Bryony that heart magic and head magic are the same. It's just that where you're pulling your power
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that the people who use the heart magic, which is technically more powerful in a brute force sort of
Yeah.
way than head magic is, but it depletes you. You
Yeah.
can husk, right? You can
Yeah.
deplete yourself so thoroughly that you could never get your magic back. Where in
Yeah.
head magic you can't because it's not a blunt object, it's a sharp knife. And that's
Yeah.
really the difference and that's why the Bromati who are using heart magic want heart springs. Right,
Yeah.
they want the Eversuns for heart springs because 'cause they're just a source of power for them, so they can continue using their blunt force magic.
Yeah. I just wanna say it's Bo Marty?
Bomardi?
Yeah.
This is a good example, even though I listened to the book. I was like, Bomardi? Bromardi?
Bo Marty.
Bomardi.
Yeah. Uh, I will like, this audiobook, this was one of the first books I feel like I think the majority of it I listened to because of just the timing of when we had to finish it, and the few pages and chapters that I read, I'm like, I'm looking at these names and I'm like, "That is not how I would have pronounced that."
Raven?
Well, there's a Felicity. I just kept hearing Felicity, but it's Velicity.
Yeah. Raven
Val Yes.
is obviously pronounced like the bird, but spelled like REIGNVHAN or something. When I
Yeah.
first read it after reading it, I was like, "Are we talking about" Oh, yeah. No, it's this okay, yeah, it's the same person. Wow. I had to use my context clues to really get to get there.
But yeah, I love how they really changed that Bryony from
From
Hermione.
Hermione. I know. I like to think that maybe, Julie Soto was just being like, "This is funny.
Yeah.
I'm
I
keeping
think
it in."
I hope she did, 'cause you
Yeah.
know what? I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Alright, speaking of which, did we like this book? What are your no ratings, but just
Yeah.
first thoughts?
Um, I loved it. I really think it scratched a real, like, romantasy, trope-heavy itch that I didn't know I had. Like, because 'cause I'm reading these things all of the time, and I really feel like this itched it in a great way.
I have not stopped thinking about this book since I finished it.
Yeah.
I I cannot stop thinking about it, and I'm like, what is making this different than some of these other books that I've read? And
Even,
I
like,
think
veins
it's
in the veins of The Drowning, which we really liked and
Yeah.
was a romantasy, but I liked it more than that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it's the yearning, but I think
It's the
it's the
yearning.
mutual yearning
Yeah.
that we know that it feels like the 2 main characters don't know, but we're sort of getting this, like, inside view into what was going on years before present day.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the first book, like, not really much happens in terms of these 2 characters
No.
together.
No, it's just yearning. It's just mutual pining and misunderstanding, which usually drives me bananas. But in this case, both of them are going through a significant amount of trauma. Just really when it comes to that he had to buy her, and it became very clear that he would have preferred if that was not the case, but he wasn't going to let her go to Raven, who was a real predator with a capital P.
Yo, ooh, scary guy.
Yeah.
That and I think one of the other things is that we don't know from this first book, we don't know what Tovin's, like, end game is. We don't know why he
No.
bought Bryony in the auction. We don't know what his family is planning. Obviously, they're doing some political I don't know.
Maneuvering.
Yeah, political maneuvering, but we don't know what they really think about this whole
Yeah.
war that's happening, and that really kept me interested.
Mhm.
That really kept me wondering and wanting to read more about what we were going to find out, and damn, we do not.
No.
We find out little things that I'm like, "Yes, I love this. I
Mhm.
need more." I wish this was 1,000 pages, I would have read it immediately, all in one sitting. and been totally fulfilled, and now it's just something I can't stop thinking about, and I haven't not stopped thinking about a book in, quite some time.
Yeah. I will say that when I was looking at some of the things that I sort of picked out that, like, it's not that I didn't like it, but I, wished I knew more. Every single part of it was just intentional. Like, we were
Yeah.
intentionally not told what the Hearsts were doing. Um, I When we found out that Serena, Tobin's mom, is actually a very powerful mind magician, which has been outlawed in Marty. That's when we
Beaumard.
did Beaumard?
Beaumard.
Oh, yeah, they're a Beaumardy from Beaumard. It's been
Yes.
outlawed in Beaumard for years, right? And she's also a seer, and that's why she's so
Yeah.
important to that's why, like, the Hearst family in general is so important to Malo, and the way that they've set it up is because of what she saw, because she saw Mallow coming, so, of course, the question is, what else has she seen coming? Why are they protecting Bryony? And even
Yeah.
though the dad, Orion, is obviously unimpressed by Brian.
He
Unimpressed, but is
Yeah,
willing to help, obviously, but in an unimpressed.
but it's funny 'cause, Orion doesn't seem like he's the one wearing the pants in that family,
No,
like,
it does very much seem
Serena's
yeah,
running the show.
yes, which I love. Let's just do a deep dive on Bryony and Tobin for a second,
Yeah.
because I really liked Bryony,
Yeah.
and obviously she was supposed to be naive. I know you hate a virginal character, Katie, but obviously
Yeah.
her virginity played a huge role in just everything, like the basis of
Yeah.
this book, like how much
Oh,
she was, quote unquote worth at the
yeah.
auction, part of like what the magic that she actually possessed and what it could be used
Yeah.
for. So it was a very important part of her characterization. And I think we were also supposed to take it a little bit literally too, that she was a little naive, even if she
Mhm.
was sort of pretending, like not to be. She was very, very smart. She was very, very powerful, but she never
Yep.
used her full power at school because her dad said, you basically just have to help your brother look good. So she was just giving her magic, and she didn't know it at the time, but it was heart magic
Yep.
to her brother. So he could be also very good at school because he was the heir, and he was going to be in charge one day. And she obviously believed this prophecy that her brother
Yep.
was going to win. He was the chosen one. Another trope here, like the twice over prince, and that was pretty naive. No one believed it. It seemed like nobody but her believed it. Even in, like, the
I
first chapters of the book, they were going off, and she was like, see you in 10." And he was like, "Good luck, babe."
So, I don't know, I actually think Bryony convinced herself that that was true. I don't actually think that she believed it. I don't know, I just felt like I was getting hints that I mean, she knew that he wasn't as powerful and that she was the one feeding him all of this power so that
Yeah.
he could do certain things, and I don't know, I think she knew deep down, but I guess we'll fucking see, eh,
I
Rory?
guess, yeah. But and the only thing about her characterization, because I thought it was really believable that it took her what seemed like months to just get over the fact that she was sold as a sex slave. And I was like, fair enough. Like she was doing those hunger strikes. She was like
Yeah,
not picking up that the Hearsts were uninterested in using her for her intended purchase reason.
but that
It
makes
makes
sense. I
sense.
mean, because she was kind of shut off from everybody else that was sold, so she didn't actually know
No.
what these people that bought all of the other Eversons were doing with them or what the expectations were. Obviously, besides, I think generally, if a man is buying a young woman, what do you think
Correct.
that person could be used for? I I can't blame her, and man, is it terrible when she starts going to those parties. Oh
Hmm.
my god. I just do you know, I think it's Canning Trow, which
Yeah.
is kind
He
of
was
like
like,
the big bad, like a little fucking prick.
yeah, he was one of, I'm forgetting what number heir he was, but like they would go to those parties and all of the heirs of the heirs would be there. And Canning Trow was like the first heir or something like that. I'm forgetting. And
Yeah,
Tobin, even though the Hearsts were sort of the most politically connected and the most powerful, was
and
only
rich.
and rich. They were the richest,
Yeah.
whereas they were only the seventh seat. So technically not the most quote unquote powerful in the room, but actually the most influential, maybe, but not the most like politically powerful.
I thought those scenes were written so well because I was cringing the entire time when they
You
were
were like,
in those.
it was like you were there.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Well, that actually brings us to Tobin. What did you think about Tobin? Like, give me your thoughts.
I kind of loved him. He was a perfect mix between a bully, but
Hmm.
someone that is always plotting. Like somebody that is doing everything for a reason, except you don't know what that reason is. Like one of the differences between him and in Zodiac Academy, all of
Hmm.
those airs, I hated the bullying of that. Like, I kinda
Yeah.
hate that bully romance, but in this, I felt like he was just manipulating everyone from the get-go, and we still don't know what his plan is. I kind of love it, and I also love, obviously, that he bought Bryony and is not using her in terrible ways and has
Yeah.
constantly tried to protect her from all of the really horrible things that are going on with all of the other Ever-Sons.
I liked him too. I wish he used his words a little more. Everything that he did was obviously calculated and like for a particular reason. Even when you got the flashbacks when he was in school, it was
Yeah.
very clear that while he was not going to go against his heir friends, he wasn't participating in all of his like heir friend bullying. He'd step in when it got too far.
Yeah.
So that really helped soften the blow of, mass murderer Tovin because he is somebody who can kill three people at once with the heart stop.
Yeah, but he's killing the right people, you know what I
I know.
mean?
But of course, but like it's still, like still a morally great person. But you know who I think he really reminded me of? Rhysand in book one, in A Court of Thorns and Roses, before we get to know him,
Ooh.
when we think that he's just Amarantha's little boy, like going around reading people's minds, breaking their minds, but everything he did was to, protect his people. Like Tobin is trying to protect his family, like protect their secrets. Like he's obviously much more powerful than anybody thinks they are. All of the
Mhm.
Hearsts are more powerful than anybody thinks they are. Similar to Rhysand, he was trying to protect Feyre in any way he can. He would send the music so Feyre wouldn't off herself in the like in
Yeah.
the dungeons. And the same thing, protecting them, but without sort of making it clear even to Bryony that she was being protected. Like Bryony saw his protection as scheming, which it was scheming, but it wasn't
Yeah.
scheming against her. It was a broader political scheme to save the world, which I think we'll probably get a little bit more of.
Yeah, because even at this point, it's not like Tovin was like, "I hate this bitch, Mallow." As far as we know in this book, they're still abiding by all of the rules and meeting with her and doing her bidding, whatever that may be,
Hmm.
but we don't know what they really think about the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think that was part of what you said. The sort of political setup of this world is two equally powerful countries with differing belief systems, if we will, magic systems, right? But also
Yeah.
within them, they do think down on each other for different things. Like the Beaumarty
Yeah.
think that the Eversons, the fact that they don't let women inherit
Yeah.
is barbaric. It's like how backwards and like old fashioned that like the line only goes through the males,
Yep.
right? Not realizing that they're doing something even more barbaric by selling people, both men and women, but mostly women, into sex slavery so they can have their heartsprings. And the Eversons think that the Beaumarty are brutes because of the way that they use magic in this blunt force sort of way instead of a much more intellectual type of way. But like they're both equally wrong and equally right.
This just truly is like, yeah, if the world went to shit, men would be meeting at a super fancy mansion, having a special dinner party for the elite group of them, eating a bunch of food, drinking a bunch of booze, having a bunch of women do
Yeah.
anything that they want, and then going into an arena to fight each other.
But like not putting themselves at risk, just putting the people they bought at risks instead.
That's so embarrassing how true that is, though.
Yeah. It
Very
is it's
realistic.
For fantasy, it's hitting a little close to home.
Well, that's why I think I really like it when you're thinking about Handmaid's Tale and
Mhm.
how awfully scary that is now because it takes place in essentially the now times and how almost the same thing is happening in this book, but there's this fantasy angle of it makes it feel a little better. No, it doesn't make it feel better.
Doesn't make you feel better, but it does gives a little bit distance, I guess, to the darkness of it. I will say another part that seemed like such a little detail, but I also think speaks to what you were saying, is that at those parties, which of course is at the former Rosewood Castle, so Bryony's old home that they've just taken over
Rule.
to make basically just a den of debauchery?
Debauchery.
Debauchery. Wow, that wasn't right. But they have the Barlow girls. So the people who were bought at auction, who are the Heartsprings, who have magic, have the gold collar around their neck.
Mhm.
And then the Barlow girls who don't have magic, but are equally as enslaved. And they are enslaved for the purpose explicitly to be sex slaves, basically, like to entertain people there. They're wearing silver collars and they go to these parties to entertain the men. It's like it's sex trafficking.
Yep. But them the sneakiest.
And that was, I think, when Bryony did realize, "I have to go to these parties,"
Yeah.
even though Tovin didn't want her to. It was when she was sort of getting a little bit more with it that she needed to go to these parties because she needed to talk to these women, even though they weren't allowed to talk. And
Yep.
that's when they were able to pass notes and give each other grapes and like have this sort of secret way of talking to try and help each other out, to try and let Bryony know while she was never going to be any sort of heir because she was a woman, she's very much a symbol
Yeah.
to everybody, even when they were like locked in the dungeon in the beginning. They were constantly trying to escape so Bryony could escape, and it never worked.
You know what I wrote in my notes? Nobody got knocked out more than Bryony. Bryony was
Yeah.
constantly getting knocked out, waking up, "Where am I?" In a new spot.
Yeah. I'm sorry, did everything change?
I just got knocked out for the 5th time.
Yeah. Did the war end? Did my brother die? Did I get sold? All of these things happened when she was not.
She is getting knocked out all the time. But wait, can we talk about Larissa? So Larissa Gaines, who
It's a killer
is
name, by the way.
I know, it's a
Larissa
good
Gaines is a
name.
killer name.
Yeah. Larissa is a bitch, but is she? I don't know. Larissa is Beaumard,
Mhm.
and her father is a fairly, powerful man in that area. And why was Larissa in the dungeon with them, included there?
I think it's something we're going to find out because when Larissa came back
Yeah.
and Bryony was teaching her how to basically transform into somebody else, when Bryony asked her, Larissa just said, "Revenge, period."
Yeah.
So there's obviously something with her father. We just don't know. I think because
Yeah.
her father was so desperate for her to marry Tovin, to
Yeah.
marry up, he wasn't going to pass the estate or the seat to Larissa, even though technically in Beaumard you're supposed to be able to. But he was like, "You need to get married." He sent her to the Lady of the Night
I
to like
know.
learn how to seduce people. But I actually thought Larissa was a really good example of how the characterization of everybody was pretty layered. All of
Yeah.
these characters
Yeah.
were pretty layered. Bryony was naive, but so smart and so powerful. Tovin was mysterious, but for good reason. Was doing terrible things, but you knew that if he ever used his words to explain it to you, you'd be like, oh, okay. Larissa was an absolute bitch, but she had to be. And she was trying to help, and she was trying to help people all of the time. She was just gonna be mean to you while she was doing it. Both of the Hursts were the same way. In fact, the more one-dimensional characters were the Eversons. But I think it's just
Yeah.
because we haven't had the chance to really know any of them, except for Bryony. It was just
Yeah.
the first chapters and some of the flashbacks. I think that's probably gonna be book 2.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get point of views from other characters like Diddy and the Diddler.
I don't like that you're using the word diddler. First of all, I just don't like it, period. It gives me the full body chills. It gives me the shivers. I don't like it.
Diddy and the Diddler. They were
Stop it.
diddling under the
I
willow.
don't want you to say it anymore. Gross. Ew.
The Diddler. I
No.
love it. Well, I will say, when I was thinking about some of the plot twists, besides the ending, there was one other part where we both in the car went, and that was when we found out that they were 24.
Oh my God,
Like,
that's right.
I think that was just casually mentioned towards the end of the book, said something like, Bryony was like, "Well, I'm 24." And I was like, "Are you?"
I don't know if I ever really thought about how old they were, if I'm gonna be
I
honest with you.
wasn't thinking they were 24. I thought
You
they were,
think they
like,
were older or younger?
younger.
I think I thought they were younger too. To be honest, I didn't really think too hard about it, but yeah, I was assuming maybe like 21. I think I thought they were in their
Yeah.
20s, but like just in their 20s.
Yeah, 24 to me is like, so are you guys in college? Is that what this whole school thing was? Like, it was a little confusing.
They did a lot of schooling before school. There was a lot of things that they were doing in the flashbacks that they came to school with like a basic knowledge. I mean, particularly like the heirs of Beaumard and the Everson prince and
Yeah.
princess. They had tutors and stuff. So they came with a fair amount of knowledge already. They were just supposed to hone it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true.
The one thing that I would have liked to know, I thought the world building overall was excellent. So, in the veins
Yeah.
of The Drowning, we definitely thought that the book thought it explained sirens and sort of how they fit
Yeah.
in, but they didn't. And this book, anything we don't know, I'm pretty sure we will learn the next book. We don't know for a reason. The flashbacks did a really good job giving us a lot of like texture to the world, and then we
Yeah.
got a lot of this existing world. So I think it was really strong. The one thing I wish we would have learned more about, and I do think the book thought it gave us enough information on, but I don't think it did, was the familiars. Was that the Romardi had the familiars.
Yeah.
So Tobin had the fox that tried to rip out Bryony's throat at one point. Orion had a hawk, I think, or maybe Serena had a hawk. There was like a lot of birds and stuff. But the biggest one is that Mallow had the dragon. She was the only one to ever bond a dragon as her
Yeah.
familiar. And then at the end of the book, Bryony thought that she had it figured out that Mallow didn't bond the dragon, that it was actually some sort of very complicated mind magic that she was doing
Yep.
to convince everybody that she had bonded the dragon. And that's
Yep.
why she's actually a very weak magician, because she's spending
Yeah.
all of this effort on keeping up this ruse.
So I put literally, this is the sentence I wrote. Finding out Mallow doesn't have any powers and her dragon thinks she's trash.
Yeah, the dragon does think she's trash.
Like, I love that we got the point of view of the dragon, and
Yeah,
she was just like, "This woman is such a bitch and won't stop riding me. I hate her."
I hate her. Love the dragon.
I I loved that. That truly happens in, like, the last few
It's
pages.
the epilogue,
Yeah.
and it's from the dragon's point of view,
Yep.
and the dragon calls her the black-haired demon.
Yeah.
Let me bring it back, 'cause this is a part that sort of confused me, is that
Yeah.
Bryony had this epiphany that the dragon wasn't real, basically. That the dragon only existed when Mallow was around, because Mallow had to be there because she was, convincing them all that it was there. It's like a
Yep.
hallucination, basically. But then we get the point of view of the dragon of the last chapter. So the dragon is real. Mallow is calling the dragon, and the dragon said that Mallow tricked him
Yep.
into becoming her familiar. And I love that the dragon hates people, hates them, just hates humans.
She hates him.
She's like they multiply. They're so annoying. I've been hiding from them from years. This bitch found me, and now I got humans all over the place. I got humans here. I got humans there.
She's like, "I had this awesome hiding spot, and then this crazy bitch came up on my lair and snatched me up, and I made a deal with her thinking she would just go away, and she lied to me."
She lied to me. She's apparently here forever. And I don't want to be bonded to her. I want to be bonded to, ready for the twist, bum, bum, ba, Rory, the king, Bryony's brother, who died in basically the first chapter. is not dead. I call that pretty early because I did not believe Tobin's explanation that Bryony couldn't be his heartspring, couldn't like share the heart magic with Tobin because she had already freely given it to her brother, didn't make total sense to me because I would think if your heartspring, if he died, you would think that she would be able to give it to Tobin. Like, I don't understand necessarily the mechanics of this world, but that doesn't make any sense. As a fantasy reader, I can tell you that makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, Bryony did say, though, that she didn't feel whatever connection they have because they are
As
also
twins.
twins,
Yeah.
and she does share her magic with him literally all the time because honestly, he seems kinda useless. She said that she didn't feel like it was gone pretty early on in the book. That
Yeah.
made me think maybe he's not dead, but also I guess we don't really know what happened in the battle or how he ended up surviving or whatever. A
Well,
real
sounds like
part
the
of me.
dragon saved him.
Yeah. She was like, "Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
He's my baby."
Yeah, basically. She was basically talking about Rory the way that you were just talking to your cat.
Yeah. But I think the king that's supposed to save everybody, yada yada, I think it's Bryony. Like, I think
I
she's
think
the
it's
one
Bryony
that
too. Yeah.
I think for whatever reason, whatever this prophecy is, I think maybe we'll get a more info in another book, but I think she's the prophecy. I think she's
Yes.
gonna be the one to
And I think that's probably
save them all.
what Serena saw because when they come the second time to check
Oh,
if she's properly sterilized, and this is when murder happens, Serena stops her from being fully sterilized. And Bryony asks, is it because I'm supposed to have an heir? Like, and the implication is with Tophin, is like, are you keeping me around
yeah,
because I'm important for your family? And Serena tells her no, that's not why. But that seems like a lie. That seems like there's
yeah,
something important going on there. I mean, I could see that this twice over heir is, a a prince of Evermore and also an heir of Bomarty, like if her and Tovin do have somebody
Tovin and
and
Bryony that are
yeah,
probably the key,
mhm.
and I think Mommy Dearest has seen that.
I think Mommy Dearest has seen that. And I think
Yeah.
if I've learned anything from all of the fantasy that I've read is that we know that seers are big old liars. But no, the real twist for me was learning that not only I mean, sure, Rory was alive, but I feel like we both saw that coming. But the fact that that dragon wants Rory to be her
Mhm.
dragon rider, basically.
Yeah.
So not only was the dragon real, and then we got a chapter from the dragon, but like that dragon was in love with our little Rorykins that we knew for 2 minutes before he died. I was like,
Yeah,
that was a
Dragon's
fun
like,
twist.
"Fine. You can stay in my little house. You're cute."
Yeah, I mean, like, and oh, you want to leave? I mean, I don't like people, but I do like you.
Yeah, like, she's got a crush on him, and I
She-
love that, and I love the
yeah,
way that she hates Mallow, and
yeah, I know.
it's amazing. I love that, and I thought that was a great twist. Like,
Yeah,
that was
I thought so too.
excellent, that there's nothing powerful about this woman. She's kinda blackmailed this dragon
Yeah,
into doing
she's
what
just
she
tricked a
wants,
dragon.
which is the nerve. Let's talk about the romance and the smut
Yeah,
to close things out. I'm just gonna start with the romance. It I mean, there was little romance because there was so much yearning
so
and
much
so
yearning.
much, like, buildup in this book. We got a kiss. We got a kiss, and that is all, and I gasped in the car when that happened. Woo! I loved it. I loved it. I was like, "Yes." Um, but that was all we got.
Wait, am I? I thought they had sexy times.
Wha Tovin and Bryony?
Yeah. Hold on.
No, girl. She comes back from her disassociation, and
Yeah.
she's basically crying, and he's holding her, and they have this quick conversation. It was, like, right when we were about to pull it like, we were on the merit, we were
We're on the merit and you're like, I have to focus. I don't know where I am. So we turned it off. And then I
yeah.
said, oh, good. Because I read it when I came back. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, good. Because then we would have just been listening to a sex scene together. But you say no. Hold on. I'm looking at it right
No,
now.
they just kissed, and then Serena knocks on the door and interrupts them. Yeah, and they just kissed. There was no everyone's hands and clothes were on.
Kept all the clothes on.
Yeah, hands
Hold
to
on a second.
themselves, clothes on. You don't believe me? Can't keep my hands to myself.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was just a big old kiss.
Yeah,
Maybe a little dry humping. Well, yes, the
yeah.
sexiest part of the book or like the smuttiest part of the book was in the mind when they were like
Yeah.
fighting each other with mind magic about basically blowjobs.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom, if you get this far into the podcast. But I think The Yearning was the romance. As somebody who loves a smutty romance novel like Bourbon and Lies, I think it was lovely to get like this really, really slow burn, mutual pining. I thought it was done great. Thought it was
Uh,
done really well.
it really was, and I think that played a part in why me and everybody else loves Tovin. Because like, I wanna know why he loved her. Like, he was her crush and she was his crush, but why? When? When did that happen?
It was that one dance that they did after the first year of school, and he's like, "That was my
Yeah.
biggest mistake. Like,
Yeah,
dancing
I
with
know.
you put a target on your back." And I was like, "Why? Why did it put a target on her back?"
Because it seems that, and I think he says this in the book, he may not be next in line for the throne. They may be super rich, but for whatever reason, everyone is watching him, what he's doing. If he likes something, they like it or they want to take it.
I think it's yeah, the difference between like influence and power. The Hearsts technically are not high up in the rankings, but are
Yeah.
but are the most influential people in the realms. Like Mallow talks to Serena every single day. Mallow
Yep.
needs Orion to be with her to do whatever they're doing. I assume it's some sort of fighting. We don't really know. And I think because of that, Tovin is also quite influential.
But remember, after the whole murder that Bryony does, Mallow gives Orion, like, moves him up a couple places in hierarchy of who's next to the throne, and he was like, "Nah, you don't have to do that. I'm good."
Yeah.
Like, "Why, bro?"
Why? I know. I hope in the second book we get more of like the broader political landscape.
What are the Hearsts cooking up?
Yeah. And what is happening because at those parties, leaders from other countries, countries we don't know about at all, are there. We learned that one of the daughters from one of the countries is basically political collateral, right? Like somebody gave
Like,
like a daughter to Finn.
who
And
seems like a
because
good guy, by the way.
he is a good guy. So I think that Finn and Tovin are in it together. Like I think for whatever reason they're
Yes.
good guys. Finn's in it with him, but I just think it's Finn. I don't think Tovin has any other like friends who know even a little bit of what's going on.
No. Just Larissa and Finn, actually.
Yes, I guess, but well, that's another fun thing too about Larissa. Like they were dating. Like they definitely dated. Tovin and Larissa dated when they were in school.
I know, but then why did they stop? What happened?
I would love to know. But I also like, were they dating or was it something for the cameras, if you will? Or like, were they dating and they were just like, it's just easier if we do this, but it won't come to anything. But I think she definitely thought it would because she needed it to. Her dad needed her to marry a Hearst.
Hear me out.
Yeah,
She's a lesbian,
maybe.
and maybe it was for show because her dad was like, "You can't be gay. You need to marry this man." And she's like, "No, I'll only marry for love." And maybe she loves some other gal, and we don't know who that person is.
That's why she wanted to go to the parties. She's a Barlow girl. She has
Yeah.
no magic and she needs to spring her out or something.
Maybe she's the one that's the host or something.
Oh, yes, who definitely knows more. And also, Tovin knows more about those girls. Like, Tovin is involved in the Barlow girls in some sort of way
Because why
that we
else
don't
would
know about.
Larissa be in the dungeon? She has to have done something to her dad for him to be like, "I don't have a daughter."
And basically be like, you can have her, you can sell her.
Wait a
Because it
sec.
doesn't, okay, we're theorizing. We're doing a lot of theorizing. Who are we?
I know. But wait a sec. At the end of the auction, when our friend Bryony gets knocked out for, like, the 5th time that day,
Yeah.
when she wakes up, is it Larissa's father who is there, who then has them put their hands out and changes the stamp so that it says Tovin's name? Like, did Tovin technically buy both of them?
Tovin did buy both of them, ultimately. Raven bought her.
Yeah.
Raven won the actual auction, but then she got knocked out again. And she got knocked out just in time to go onto auction. And then Raven won her, and then she got knocked out again.
Again, yeah.
And she woke up just in time to be like, oh no, Raven bought me. And then to see it change. So, and I don't
Yeah.
know who changed that. And that's another thing we don't know. Tovin gave Raven something,
Yeah.
and it wasn't money
He
for
said it
her.
was the thing he wanted more than you.
Yeah.
And what is that?
So we don't know that either. That can't be good. That can't be good for our
I
boy
know.
Tovin.
Toby?
We haven't theorized about a single book on here. All of a sudden, you're making big jumps. And I think the reason why maybe this is not getting too many theories is because other people have read the auction. But
No,
listen,
I
as
know.
somebody who hasn't read it, I mean, like, I guess I don't want to know. Like, I don't
I
want to
don't
read
wanna
the
know
auction
either.
now. So,
I don't wanna know either, which is why I'm not looking anything up. So when I was looking up people's reviews and stuff of this, I was kind of cautious because I don't wanna know how this ends. I want to continue along this path.
do you want to do ratings? All right. I have had a change of heart. And let me tell you, and this is going to sound like a TikTok commercial, and it's not. But I've had a change of heart because I did download Fable, which is like a good read. It's like a reading
Yeah,
tracking app, better than Goodreads. I mean, like, so Goodreads is very important because it attaches to my Kindle, right? Just
yep.
because it's an Amazon product, and I don't have to like add the book I'm reading if I'm reading it on Kindle, like, or I guess something Audible, like it's automatically connected, and that's what I'm looking for in a tracker. But to rate anything in Goodreads, which I know you do it all of the time, and I do it
Yeah.
sporadically, but it's not what I'm ever looking for, which I think is why I had such a on the star rating system. The last night I downloaded Fable. And first of all, it has really cool charts and stuff in it.
Oh, really?
And you can pull in all of your Goodreads data,
Yeah.
but it won't connect to Goodreads from that point on. It basically just takes your historical data. So I mean, again, that's the downside. But look, it reads everything and it gives me the type of reader I am. I'm
Oh, that's
a
fun.
and then it tells me what it is. And then you go down and look at this. This is cool. By month, the books I read.
Oh, that's cute. It's like a little
And then
bookshelf.
yeah, and then like it tells me I read an average of 1.2 books a week.
Damn, girl.
But every time I finish a book, it'll put it on here.
That's very cute. It's got
So
a
I'm
good,
very
UI.
It has a very nice UI. And as somebody who's created the internet, as of yourself,
Mhm.
you can appreciate that. But
I
now when
can.
I go to my list, so now when I go to my currently reading list and I go to rate something, Rose and Chains, for example, when I go to rate it, see how it has the stars,
Yeah,
I can give it quarter stars. And that's the nuance I'm looking for if I'm going to do this.
I understand.
Because now I can say that this is 5 stars. This is a
Oh,
5-star read for me. It's a 5-star read for me. It's also 2 thumbs up. But now that I have this, and then the next one, it says, how does this book make you feel? And then you can pick an emoji. And I said that this makes me feel nostalgic because it did make me feel nostalgic because I really felt like it brought me
yeah.
back to like my fanfic days. It brought me back to an ACOTAR sort of reading something that like a first time that you really read like a great
Yeah,
romantasy type of book. So I said it made me feel nostalgic, and I like that it gave me that option.
that's
Next.
cute.
And then it said, how spicy is this book? And your options are always no spice, and it's just a heart.
Okay, yep.
Some spice, suggestive dialogue, but no explicit theme, like or scenes. And I would say that's what I gave this book. I gave it a 1 chili pepper. But then it's also spicy as a flame. Sure, spicy is this little emoji with his tongue out. And then you can give star ratings for character, plot, setting, writing style, and any content warnings you want to put in there. So you can give stars and then you can give little tags to it.
Okay, I love this. I'm on Goodreads all the time because that is where I'm rating things. Do they need product managers? Because, like, they have the money. They can update that app. There are things
It's
out there.
bad. It's an
It's so
actively
bad.
The only good thing about it is that it's connected to my Kindle.
Yeah,
And that's the only good thing about it. And if I wasn't a Kindle reader, and I am primarily a Kindle reader, I treat
yeah,
books like
yeah,
trophies. I
yeah,
don't read physical books. So that's the only good thing about it.
yeah. Okay, so
So now I like it. So I give it 5 stars. It's a 5-star read for me.
I love it. This is a five-star read for me. I think that this is the best book I've read all year. As of right now, this is the best of the best. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm desperate for the next book.
I'm hoping that since it's based on something that's
I
already written,
know.
maybe they're going to pump it out like one a year for 3 years. That would be nice.
We're not gonna find out for another 2 years, like, I hate that, but I've already recommended it to multiple people, but I thought it was literally the best. Okay.
Agreed.
Alright, Elise, it's your pick next time. What are we reading?
We are reading The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, who I love. Rachel Gillig did the
Yes.
One Dark Window series, which was one of my favorite of maybe the last 2 years. And I'm really excited for this one because Rachel Gillig writes with such like a gothic sort of atmosphere, and I think it's a good book to sort of kick off fall. You know what I mean? Like a real September read.
I can't wait for spooky season and all of the fun books we're gonna read coming up.
I know, for sure. So, yeah, that'll be our next one.
All right, that's our episode on Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.